Well, this is the Fair Rent Commission meeting. It's a public hearing. Thursday, October 17th at 5 o'clock. And we're going to call it to order and have an attendance.
Kevin Hayes,
Present.
Donna Isley,
Here.
Travis Lipinski, Natava,
Here.
Deborah Brown. Here. And Connie Quinn, present.
Can we have an approval or any discussion on the last meeting minutes? Any motion to accept?
So moved.
Any discussion? No discussion? Voting, like to have a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
that was passed. Now we're gonna go to the hearing portion of the meeting. And,
Well,
So like-
one thing before, I should have thought of this before, but the minutes should reflect that I'm present also.
I think I did.
Do you? Yeah.
I've been doing that.
Well, you didn't call my name.
not on the attendance sheet.
So just so you guys know, I'm Michael Magistrali. I'm the city's corporation counsel. I'm not part of the commission, but I am the staff person who provides support to them.
Okay. So should I have you on the attendance list too?
No,
Okay.
you would just note that I'm
I
here.
usually do.
okay.
attendance.
That would be great if you just keep bringing that up. That,
Well,
that's good. All right. I saw a shiny object, so now I don't want. it. So we need to have a motion to open our hearing section of our meeting.
So moved.
So moved.
Any second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so now we're going to open up our hearing portion of the meeting. And we will actually be presenting two portions, two tenants and one landlord. And that is Bloom and Ifland, is that correct? That's the correct one, Tommy?
They're both Bloom.
Oh, yeah, but it's
Yeah.
Bloom and Ifland,
Difference,
Yeah, we're all.
and the other one, okay, they're both Blooms and Iflands, okay.
My parents and then.
I only, and if we want to reflect it as Fair Rent Commission number 24-8 and 24-9.
Mhm.
This way we can separate the two, even though they both have things.
Different address.
Yeah.
Same house.
Yeah, same house. but-
Okay, so I'm gonna advise you guys, don't say anything,
Oh,
okay, unless somebody asks you a question. If they ask you a question, then you can answer, but don't just talk. Okay, thank you.
but Thank you for that. So I understand what you're.
But it might be
Yes.
helpful to just ask them to identify themselves.
Yes. But right now, okay, so we identified the two cases we'll be hearing. So if you can identify who you are, so we can relate to our notes here. So if you can tell us who you are,
I'm Brett Bloom.
Melissa Bloom. Maureen Bloom.
Ralph Bloom.
okay, and we have your tenant,
Yeah.
and no landlord present. That's gonna be needed. Yes, all right, so to give you a general idea, now what do we do when there's no landlord?
So you hear from the tenants and you
We-
make a decision based on what they tell you. And
Okay,
it's just
so
that
we still proceed as normal.
proceed
just-
as normal. The landlord may show up. He hasn't contacted my office to request a continuance. I did receive back from him acknowledgements that he received the complaints. One is dated October 9th and one is dated October 10th. That's just the date that he signed them. They were received by my office on October 15th, so just 2 days ago, but it
All right.
gave him, the cover letter gave him notice of when the hearing was happening.
Generally, we're just
Right.
keep going.
So I think
But-
you keep going and basically you'll end up making your decision based
Based
on
on
the
what
evidence that you hear.
Right, he won't, he's not here to present evidence, so.
No,
we'll make our decision based on what they're saying and
right?
what we.
You apply what you find facts based on what the tenants are telling you, and you apply it to those circumstances and you make your decision. There's no provision for what you would call like in court a default.
Yeah,
If he doesn't show up, he's
That's why, yeah.
defaulted.
that's why I
Yeah.
asked, because that's what I'm used to. Just to let you know, you are case number 8 and 9. So this is a very new commission. So each time we're doing something new, we're getting schooled and learning as well. So there's different circumstance to what we're used to.
Okay.
So that's why when you hear information coming from him, they're teaching us.
To guide us where we need to be.
Yeah, they guide us, teach us, give us some information. All right, so we have that, we have the tenant landlord names, all right, some generic ideas of what's going to happen today.
Mhm.
You're gonna give us some information. We're gonna put you under oath. Somebody will ask you some stuff, and then you provide your information to us. The landlord was here, he can either agree or disagree with like a contract. Say you gave us your contract, you could say yes, he would say, yes, that is your contract, or it is, no, it is not. You cannot really ask us questions.
Okay.
We can ask you questions. And then later on, you will be able to ask each other questions, meaning the landlord and the tenant. Okay, nothing new. There's no new allegations, things that have changed. We can only go by what the paperwork you gave us.
Okay.
And that's really it. It's, you give us information, we'll make a judgment on. So if our person wise, okay,
Well, I can swear him in.
okay, thank you. That'll
Let's go
make it a
here.
little easier.
So would each of you raise your right hands, please? Do each of you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, good. So we'll start with actually, which would be number 8, which is Melissa and Brett. So if you could give us your information first, because your complaint came in first. And then we'll see what you have to say.
On Friday before the.
So the one thing I'd say is when you start to testify, just say who you are.
Michael, excuse me for a minute. Excuse me. Can you put a microphone near them? I can't hear her.
I don't have a separate microphone. It's built into this computer I
Come on,
have
sit up.
here. So
Come on up
why
close.
don't you come closer? Yeah.
Come on up. Come on up, sit down.
Thank you.
No problem.
Well, you're not testifying yet. She is.
Okay.
Yeah, but
No problem.
it's comforting to have a.
Yep,
No problem.
I'm Melissa Bloom. On Friday before Labor Day, I was at work. My father-in-law called me. We thought they were our landlords. It turns out they're the property managers. We found out during the lead abatement process. Accessed the basement when nobody was home. My father-in-law told her she didn't give ample notice. She needed to leave. She wasn't supposed to be down there. That Monday, it was Labor Day. I was outside with my daughter and my in-laws. Her spouse, significant other, the property manager, got out of his car, screamed, threatened me, threatened my father-in-law, threatened to take him out. They can do whatever they want. They can go inside the sleeping house whenever they wanted to. They can evict us for no reason. He got loud, he got mouthy in front of my 3, now 4-year-olds, so I called the police. That was Monday. Thursday, we were served with the papers to go up on rent.
I'm sorry, what date was that again?
3 days later, 4 days.
Yeah, so Labor Day was Monday,
Who are
so
who are these people? Can you just?
their name is, Jess Hungaford. She is Ted's stepdaughter who reside in the house behind us, and her significant other. I'm not sure if they're married or not. His name is Dave. I am not sure what his last name is. He was the one who got out of the car, but they both reside behind us.
Now, when you started your rent here back in when, 2019, was that it?
Correct.
11/1/2019.
Yes.
You weren't notified that you have a property management team?
No, we were told that they were the landlords
Who
and
Who's they?
who's they? The Iflins?
Jessica, no, I
Oh.
didn't know about the Iflins
Okay,
until the abatement, the lead abatement.
okay, so Ted Iflin wasn't,
I didn't know anything about Ted.
Oh.
I never seen him, never met him until the lead abatement when he had to come with Healthy Homes.
okay, so this Jessica Humgerford told you she was the landlord when you first signed the lease.
Correct. And I had a previous lease with them. I lived on the first floor originally and then I moved upstairs once I got married. So I signed 2 leases with them, with Jessica. And both I knew nothing about Ted.
You said the rent was raised, the altercation happened on Labor Day Monday, and it was raised on Wednesday, Thursday?
I believe it was Wednesday, it was sent out and I think we got it the following day. I know
Do you have a copy of that?
yes, I do. It's in my purse and I know I submitted a copy of that as well.
Yeah.
What are you looking
The only
for?
thing I didn't have a copy of
What are you looking
was
for?
the lease
Well, here.
agreement because I was never.
Rental increase.
2019. The last excuse was she didn't have ink for her printer. And I told her I had ink for mine and asked her to bring it over and she never did.
Now, Mike, you also said I couldn't ask about the police report or it's irrelevant.
Well, you can ask whatever you
Do you have
want.
a copy of that? police
I do
report?
not have a copy of the police report. My work schedule didn't allow me to get to the police department.
And when did your lease end? Did it end?
It is a month-to-month lease. They would not
Okay.
sign a year lease.
Okay, and after that incident continued?
After that incident was when the rent went up. I never contacted Ted because I found out that that is not his number on there. That is his wife's number. So I never reached out to them because I have her number from the lead abatement because I only heard from her,
Her being Jessica.
her being Dawn, his wife.
Okay.
There's a lot of hands in the pot.
Did you call the property manager?
No. She told us on Friday when my father-in-law found out that she was in the basement. She was rummaging through our stuff. He asked her to leave. She called me that night asking for soy sauce and told me that we would get together and we would talk about what happened. And then that's when Monday came and Dave threatened me and my father-in-law.
Who has access to the basement?
It should just be the tenants. From what I was told, they don't even have a key. But if you look at the door, you can tell it's been moved by
Is the
some
tenant-
foreign object.
But if the two if it's a two-family, are there two separate sections lockable?
In the basement.
In the
It's a
basement, no, it's one, there's a
One-
washer,
one-
yep,
It's open.
The
But
one
we
open-
have
it's
one-
open.
but they have one side and we have one side.
Okay, but it's,
So it's
open.
not, there's no division,
Correct.
There's no division, okay.
and you don't know if it's in your lease that they have access to the basement. freely.
I was always told and by my research that once it's a rented unit, they weren't allowed.
It all depends on what's written in the lease.
Well,
There
she
was a-
doesn't, she wouldn't get a,
Right,
couldn't get a
right.
copy of
Yeah,
that, so they never
there's-
gave it to us.
There was nothing in the lease to my recollection about the basement.
Okay.
So but I know Dave and Jess, their unit is completely separate from.
What do you mean
ours.
by separate?
So,
Is there a wall?
no, it's a completely separate unit. There's a house behind. the
Okay, so
apartments.
we are not mentioning, I'm confused on who you see.
Okay,
David just, so you.
my mother and father-in-law live on the first floor. Me and my husband and our children live on the second floor.
At 95 French Street.
Yep, 97 is on the first floor, 95 is on the second
Okay.
floor. 93 is the house behind where Dave and Jess.
Okay.
So that's a
Occupied,
separate,
correct.
completely
Okay,
separate.
nothing to do with
So you and the other people in that building, that's the only ones. There's no division of like this, a sub-room, a locked.
No, there's no
Okay.
division. I know on the complaint also, I put, we've had mice eating the ceiling in the apartment. I did bring a picture of that. If you would like,
Now,
to
what do you mean eating the ceiling?
there's holes in my ceiling. And I brought this up to Jessica because at that point I didn't know about Ted and I was told, well, just buy mouse traps.
And the Jessica is the property manager.
Yes, this is my ceiling in my bedroom. And you can hear them at night eating. I don't know, I
Pictures
have
of
double,
it.
so if
Yeah.
you want a copy, feel free. I also have pictures of the
Hmm.
rodents that we fought between the first and the second floor.
And then like,
Correct.
and then can you talk about who said what about talking to the manager, or who you were allowed to talk to? Something you're complaining about who you're
So
allowed to
I was
talk to.
told during the lead abatement, Ted frequented the house with contractors, with Healthy Homes, he was there. And, he was standing in the kitchen with my husband. And he told us we were lucky we were getting the lead abatement and that he wasn't putting any more money into the home. And for any issues, to contact Dave and Jessica and not him, he wanted nothing to do with the property.
And how did the lead abatement come about?
The lead, our daughter went for her 2-year-old checkup and her lead level was 25.7. So after 2 years, we are down to 7.7, 3 iron infusions. She's gone through a lot.
Mhm.
So, but after I told Jessica and David that her lead level was high, they said we must be doing late night construction in the home because there was no lead in the home. And the Board of Health and Healthy Homes found that there was. And it wasn't just isolated in one spot, it was the siding outside the house, the ground. First floor, it was the windows, some areas of the home, it was the upper part or the lower part.
Do you have any of that information?
No, but I have the stuff from Healthy Homes, I have the emails saying that they were in there doing a lead abatement. That was approximately a year ago that the abatement was finished, but it took a year to get the abatement.
So maybe I can be a little helpful. So that's a program through Torrington Area Health District.
Healthy Homes
Yeah.
is through CCMC,
And what's DCMC stand for?
Connecticut Children's Medical Center.
Well, I get that, but the Torrington Area Health is involved in that program, isn't it?
They came out to the house with the tool that they use, the
Yeah.
lead gun. They went through everything. They submitted the report to the landlords. The landlords then contacted Healthy Homes
Mhm.
because it's a grant program.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. It's a grant program.
Correct,
So there was a grant that paid for the remediation,
correct.
right? Did you pay any part of the
I
remediation?
did not know.
Okay.
The landlords, or Jessica told me that they had to put $7,000 towards the abatement and now they can't sell the house like they wanted to, and it's our fault.
Oh, Jessica, so anyway, so there, the Torrington Area Health is part of the administration of that program. It's a grant program. A lot of it was using ARPA funds,
Mhm.
right? They're almost all gone.
Yeah,
So
sure.
that's a grant program that does exactly what she's describing. And I just want to clear up one thing. So I just went to the assessor's records.
Mhm.
So there's two buildings, right? You live in one, and it's a 2-family house.
Correct.
And then behind you is another building.
Yes.
Is that also a two-family?
No, that's a single
Oh, the
family.
assessor says it's a two-family. That's interesting.
No,
Might
as
not
far
be.
as I know, I've never
Yeah.
been in there, but I was always. told
So
it
the
was
other
single.
interesting thing is looking this up on the assessor's records, they don't have either 95 or 97 French Street, they have 93 with two
Oh, that's-
buildings. So it's
yeah.
one lot
Yeah,
with two buildings on
That'll be
yeah,
fun.
that's more of a mailing issue than the
Yeah.
assessor's office,
it. Anyway,
because it's.
just so you guys get a
Yeah.
picture of what's going on.
I drove by the property.
Anything else?
I think that's. Oh, the roof is leaking. I have pictures,
Wasn't the,
only half,
did that solve the issue of the leak?
no.
Oh.
It solved half of the issue. But this is the chimney. This was damage from, that's still there from the half that they fixed, that they never repaired. Oh, that as well. But they,
Is that true?
Yeah, this one's different.
That's a duplicate of that one.
Oh, okay.
I know my husband made duplicates, and
Yeah. See,
And
it
then-
appears to be a duplicate.
that is part of the ceiling. Or that's leaking.
That's an active leak. When it
Correct. when
rains, it gets
rains,
wet.
Correct. And then
Okay.
this as well. But the reason was that they didn't want to fix the other half because there's a lot of trees on one half of the building. And if you can see the power lines run through, and they said that it would be too much money to replace that half of the building.
So from an evidentiary perspective, if you're going to accept those photographs as evidence, you should write on the back of them and write the file number, the complaint number and the date, right? And an exhibit number.
Also those.
So you could start with exhibit 1, exhibit 2, exhibit 3.
Already know. Thank
Good.
you.
So we were told that the rent is cheap, so some of the repairs won't get done, is what Jessica told me. And then during the lead abatement, they were supposed to remove a door that had lead on it, and they,
Was it tested for lead?
correct,
And it was
positive for lead, and it was replaced. But I guess part of the program is the contractor doesn't remove all the stuff, it's up to the landlord to remove the stuff.
Which stuff, which is.
Well, in our case, it was a door that had to be removed and disposed of. They had to do 18 inches around the home because the lead level in the soil. So the landlords had to dispose of the soil. That I did have to call Healthy Homes for because it sat there for 3 weeks and I thought it was a contractor's job. And then I found this door after this first door here that has lead paint on it, and it's currently being stored in my basement.
That's still in the basement.
Correct. This was picture 2 weeks ago, and I was just down there last night doing laundry.
And the lead abatement was done in August of 2023.
Correct. It was
What do you use the basement for?
washer dryer are down there. I have a fridge down there because my little one. And then I have a chest freezer down there as well, plus some Christmas storage things.
That's nice.
Yep.
No one plays down
So my little one comes down and helps me with laundry, but she likes to go help me with laundry. But after we realized the door was down there, we stopped.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to pause the recording. We're going to just take a little break. Say that again?
Travis. He's waiting to be at.
Oh, I didn't see
He
him.
sent an email, so I was like, let me walk up really quick. I'm sorry. There you go.
So, hi, Travis.
Yes.
Is he there?
Hold on, let me take a closer
Yeah.
picture of.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have
Well,
any pictures of the
hold
mop
on a
property?
second.
Sorry.
Just for recording purposes, we stopped the recording because someone from the clerk's office came in and we had to make an adjustment and add Travis Lipinski to our meeting.
And it looks like he's not connected to audio
you-
yet, but
Are you there, Travis? Validate that he's there.
well,
They can hear us.
Technology.
Mhm.
No, it's not.
It has this,
When it works.
yeah, when it works. it works. Travis? Well, we're gonna continue the meeting. Travis isn't on.
Want me to text him? I don't know it's for me.
I think I got it, but the attorney is working on
I'm
it.
just looking at my email.
Okay,
She said he sent an email.
yeah. Well, this is the meeting. Let's see if I got his number in here. But anyways, I'm not gonna continue to hold up everybody.
So he
for that.
just sent an email at 5:15 that said he's waiting in the Zoom waiting room. But he's in
Okay,
here now,
so he is
but
there.
he can't.
Tell him he needs to unmute himself.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like he just connected. Here he is.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for
Hey,
letting me into
Travis.
the room. Thanks.
Hello, Ledger here. Now we have validation. You can hear us and we can hear you.
Yes, you do.
We are in the midst of the hearing portion of our meeting for case number Fair Rent Commission 24-8 and 24-9. We are hearing from the tenants on 24-8 and the landlord is not present. All set? Travis?
Yes, all set. I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. So we have reviewed some pictures. Unfortunately, we will do our best at some point to get them to you and Donna that is on the internet. We will get them up to the camera momentarily.
Yeah, camera's right there.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Up there in a minute. Okay,
Yes, for, this was caught on the first floor. But that's this.
It's the other one.
Yes,
it's a mouse, rat.
Which one is it?
It's a rat.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's Richard Burr.
Hmm.
Yeah.
While that's getting passed around, I'll bring some of the pictures up for you, make sure everybody's up to speed on the pictures. These are the mouse holes in the ceiling.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
This
you.
is a water leak, although a portion of the ceiling, portion of the roof was repaired, but it's still an active leak.
Okay,
This is, not sure what room this is, but either way, that is an active leak in the ceiling.
okay,
This must be, this is, probably, I'm guessing, the attic that shows a leak going down to the living space.
that looks like it's a chimney in the attic. Yep, okay,
The attic. Ceiling tiles that are
okay,
the leak. And we had discussed that their child has, or I should say, they discussed that their child has lead poisoning, and these are the doors that have been by testimony, they have been tested for lead and they're still in the basement
Okay,
for many months and they haven't been removed.
okay.
So the child cannot go in the basement area. And there is this one. That's not a mouse,
What is it?
it's a rat.
Ugh,
I'm trying to get it in proper.
got it. Thank you.
That picture looks like it's from outside.
Yeah,
It was caught
It is,
inside
but-
before it was disposed of.
if it's outside, more than likely, it's, well, either way, it's,
It was
that
caught
is a
inside.
rodent.
It was caught inside the house
Oh, it's caught inside the house,
Yes.
okay.
and removed because my
Yeah.
4-year-old was screaming.
Yeah.
Just so I have my records correct, and again, I'm chiming in, 33 Highland Avenue is the address, correct?
No,
No.
You're on the wrong one.
Okay, what address is this?
95 French Street.
Got it, thank you.
Bloom, Melissa and Brett versus Iflin.
All set, thank you, I'm on the page, thanks.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I gotta keep going back to this. Iflin owns the home?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
And you found out when they were doing lead abatement that he owned it.
Right.
But you have dealt with, not with him at all.
Once or twice. And that was only for the walkthroughs with the contractors for the lead abatement. He was there to decide like the bidding and stuff like that, but other than that, he told me and my husband, I want nothing to do with the property. It's always been with Ted or with
Jessica.
Jessica, Dave rarely on occasions as Labor Day. And then once in a blue moon, Jessica's mother, Dawn, who's married to Ted, but that was only after the abatement process when I knew they existed.
And is your family income still $4,088 a month?
The rent.
No,
Her
her
income.
income, her income, that's one of the 13.
Yes,
We have 13
Yeah. guidelines.
circumstances we look
What
at.
page is that one?
At the very front of the, with the.
Right at the
Right,
One.
Kevin, right here. Right near the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that I don't remember seeing that. Okay,
I remember going back to that because I had to figure out what it was.
yeah. Okay, anything else?
I think that is everything.
Okay. Anything you want to add?
My last commission said almost everything I was gonna talk about. So, I let him talk.
Okay,
Picture.
I think we have that
We
one.
have,
We have
Yeah,
that.
we
Okay.
have one, yes.
Yeah, it's the same picture, that's the duplicate,
Okay,
so you can maintain your duplicates.
okay.
Okay, all right, let's, it's okay. All right,
All right,
all right, yes, you're all set, okay. If there's anything else? Now, we switch our papers.
These are closed, this one.
Not really. We have to close this one or continue with it? Just, I would think just
You could
continue it
just-
because it's,
yeah, it's a combined hearing. You can just go
yeah,
ahead.
combined hearing, it's the same house. It's not even
Yeah,
a
no,
separate.
no, just,
Well, it's a
unit.
separate unit
Yeah,
in a two-family house.
yeah, two-family house, but it's the same structure as opposed to building A
Yeah.
as opposed to building
Right.
C.
And you folks live on the second floor. So the leaky roof is affecting you more than the first floor tenants. Yeah.
That's why the leak at the chimney affects your ceiling.
Correct.
Yes, okay. So I had that was accurate. All right, we're going to go now to the Fair Rent Commission, 24-9, and that has the same landlord in the same building, just first floor versus second floor. So come on up so we can all hear you.
Hold the chair.
Oh, not you.
Oh, okay. Good call, Mom.
Hey, we've been married for almost 50 years, so.
Good thing you couldn't see that. You couldn't see that room. Okay,
When you were talking about the lease, which I got one and they didn't get one. And in the back here, it says landlord will be allowed into home with 24-hour notice to make any needed repairs except an emergency. So I don't know if you wanna look at
If I
that.
can I ask a question of them, just see that I know what this lease is. I don't know if it's a similar lease, but I'm assuming I'm talking about the basement. That's why it's a combined area.
we have.
And if it's not separated,
Well, technically, their hearing kind of is over, but
Yeah.
is your question gonna have anything to do with their complaint?
uh,
I can tell you, we
Then
use the
no.
same basement
Okay.
if you need to.
then no.
Yeah, yeah.
And even when we've heard from both sides, we can still review.
Yeah, afterwards, we can review and ask questions after the fact, right?
Because
Might
the
as well.
information we may get may overlap.
They may, yeah, right. I guess what I'm just confused because her testimony was she didn't get a lease.
Yeah.
Right.
So
But I
they have a lease, but they don't have a lease.
Yes,
So you wouldn't really be asking them questions about that lease because they didn't get that lease.
and it's,
Okay.
they don't have.
I got it, like, he didn't move in with me for a few years after, but the day I moved in, they gave me the lease.
That's why I asked you that question.
Yeah.
I don't know what, I mean, I've got like the same issues as Melissa, with the mice. And, that incident she's talking about, we were sitting on the front porch. And we're having a real nice time, it's a nice sunny day, we're making fun. All of a sudden, he stops his car in the driveway and runs over. And he got this close to Melissa. I mean, he was in her face. And I had my phone on me, and unfortunately, I didn't record it. I'm very upset that I didn't record it, but he threatened my husband. And said, I'll take you out. And we can evict you and do whatever we want to do. I personally think he was loaded, but that's just my opinion. But before all that, he even got involved. Jessica had talked to me and she had talked to Melissa and she had talked to Ralph about us getting together and talking about what had happened. And that was like that Friday. On Monday, all this happened.
And you mean what had happened when they were in the basement and some, you know.
Well, what it was is my birthday's in August and I had gone to meet a friend and he was home, so there was no cars in the driveway. And she went downstairs and he caught her downstairs. And he, you know, I'll let him tell you what he said to her, but she, I guess, went home and told Dave all about it. And then he like just went into a rage. And he scared my granddaughter, my 3-year-old, like she said, it was now 4 granddaughter, and now she calls him the big bad man. So she's kind of afraid of him. But you don't threaten my husband, especially in front of me. You know, he's 69 years old. You know, you don't threaten him usually. And he didn't do anything to deserve being threatened at all. I guess my biggest complaint is the mice. It's like they're coming out of everywhere. All of a sudden, we never had a mice problem. I've been there for 5 years, never had a mice problem. Now all of a sudden they're everywhere.
And what have they said again to you?
Nothing actually. What happened was, Ralph,
No,
Let me
don't,
see
don't,
there.
you don't,
No,
you can't do that.
Tell us your
no, I
thought.
wanted the picture.
Oh, that's okay
Yeah.
then. Bring us the pictures up.
Last weekend, our sink busted or the pipes, and I think it's because the mice were eating the pipes. No, I don't want to show them the mouse. I want to show this, it's not really good picture, but it's the feces that were under our sink. I wish I had gotten a better picture of it, but they were right.
Picture's a little tough to
Yeah,
use, but.
yeah, but the feces were right under the sink. But when, you know, they couldn't understand what happened to the pipe. And I said, it's probably the mice. Because you could see that it was like eating
What kind of
And
pipe?
before.
Are they
Are they
PVC
plastic?
or is it?
Plastic or metal?
It was plastic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you could see that somebody was eating it. It just didn't, all of a sudden I had all this water on the kitchen floor. I thought, oh my God. But when they came over to fix it, when I mentioned the mice, they got real quiet and
They mean,
they ignored it.
Who
They
they?
ignored Jessica and Dave.
Okay.
They
The
ignored,
property managers.
yes, they ignored about the mice.
did they have a
So-
plumber come or did they do it?
They did it.
They did it.
They did it, yeah, which surprised me because usually we have to wait days and days if they fix something. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's really all my issues.
Do you have, pictures of the bathroom tiles?
No, that's the one thing I didn't do.
Okay.
The bathroom tiles. But I did the mice. Picture, this is the mouse. Here, I took a couple of the mouse. Oops. We brought them outside on that because we didn't have anything else to put them on.
Duplicate of this one.
Yeah, well, it's actually a different one because okay, yeah.
So with the, after the mice, after there was the leak, they came and they fixed it,
They fixed it, it was
They did fix it.
last Friday.
but they did find it.
They came Saturday. I didn't call them Friday night because, it was late, but they came Saturday. And then they kind of
Yeah.
got mad that I waited till Saturday to call them. I said, well, I didn't have bothered you last night. Well, you should have called. Fine, fine. But, they did fix it, but they weren't really happy about having to fix it, is what I'm saying. So, and when I mentioned the mice, they kind of just got really quiet and,
Down number 9, right?
No, this is, because it's
No, 9, number 1.
tenant number one, first picture.
Yeah,
How many pictures? do we
and
have?
what is your family matter? This is
Seven.
the other one.
Yeah, yeah.
we're on social security.
Mhm.
So I think it's like 42. Did I write that in there? I think it's 42.
Me too.
Oh, for a month, for the month, it's, little over 3,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you,
Yeah, it's a little
would pause
over.
just a minute and let Kevin figure out these
Yeah.
pictures?
Yeah, give me a moment here.
Well,
So, you know, how many-
I mean, there are pictures there of the outside where Ralph. had to fill
Wait
up.
just a minute.
Okay.
They're still
We're,
working.
we're
All right.
getting everything in order here. Because we don't want to mix pictures on what they had, we had, and they're all in order. Okay. Now we're all set. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you for your patience with me. All right, can I show you these now?
What do you have there?
The holes that my husband filled up the holes for the mice. He's got before and after where the mice were getting in.
Oh,
And then he filled the.
see what everybody else thinks. They're not really descriptive enough to show us really what if it was a faraway picture and they matched. Like this one would be, that's a hole you filled.
He filled the hole, yeah,
Okay.
because
That's,
the mice got in,
see,
yeah.
this one, we can actually see a hole. This one's an actual something, but this one's there's
And also,
different duplicates. It looks like a duplicate.
I fell,
Now, is that hole in the foundation?
yeah, and right in the bottom.
Yeah,
They
and that's what I'm
don't
saying,
They
that
ate
one,
in.
It's where the sill is where the sill and the.
where the siding and the foundation.
Right, right, he filled them up the other day.
And that's what I'm saying, that one's a very descriptive, that you'd see what, you can identify something.
Right. And then I also, I fell 2 years ago through this thing.
Yeah, the first,
This picture. Somebody had a picture.
this one.
Let me put this here.
Did you tell them you fixed those holes or?
No. They don't talk to us. Oh, here's another one if you want that. The holes.
Which is the hole that you're trying to describe here? I see a missing block.
Well, that's how they originally got in that block.
Okay.
And
so-
then, yeah. He should probably be showing you those pictures, not me.
That's, you're doing fine.
Okay, all right, just wanna,
So we don't.
Now, did you get that picture of when I fell?
Yeah.
See, this is where I have to go in the house. There's no railing. No railing whatsoever. And 2 years ago, I fell through that railing. And nobody even came to check on me.
You have a handicap sticker
Yes, I
for your
did.
car?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Now,
Did you mention that in your complaint?
well, no, I don't think I did.
You didn't.
So then we can't.
Honest
accept
God,
it, can we?
yeah, I don't think I did, because it wasn't up here, but yeah.
So then we can't take
But,
that.
well, I just, they did not fix it until they did the abatement. See,
Wow.
that's how they fixed it, yeah. Okay, that's my bad, I didn't. But, they never even came to check on me. My daughter-in-law told them I fell. They heard me scream, because they live upstairs. And it just, I was taking the garbage out, and I was walking, and I fell right through the thing. So, and there's just no railings or anything there. So, sorry.
Can I ask about something else?
Yeah.
So you said you think it is retaliation. What do you think is retaliation?
Going up on the rent and, because of what happened in the front yard.
What do you mean, what kind of?
Well, how he behaved.
Okay,
Yeah, I think if he could have, he would have hit my husband. I think, and then he got so close to Melissa at 10. And then he says to her, before he's leaving, he says, go ahead and call the cops. I'll be waiting in my house for them. Just like that. And he took off.
You call the police.
She didn't.
Okay.
And
Well,
they
that's
showed up,
different Than you.
they showed up and,
You have a copy of it.
huh?
Do you have a copy?
No, because I thought she was. Would've got it.
Okay.
But we talked to the cop and he was very understanding, very nice. But I guess would this be hearsay if I say this? He told the cop that he was calm. Is that hearsay? We can't count that. You're the lawyer.
It's an opinion.
When you say he said, who said?
Yeah, it's an opinion.
Dave told
Yeah.
the cop that he was calm.
Yeah.
When he was talking to us, he didn't do anything. So I don't know if that hearsay.
It's not,
Okay.
because you're not offering it for its truth. You're not offering it to prove that he was calm,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Are you?
Well, no, I mean, he told the cop he was calm, but he was not.
Right.
I think if he had gotten just a little bit closer to Melissa, he probably would have hit her. That's how he came across. And he threatened my husband and that was bad too. That he threatened him.
Nobody got arrested.
No, they didn't. No, but they have the file. They have it on report.
While you're listening, I'm gonna give you a picture.
How long did it
That
take
is
the
actually a
police to
picture of a
come?
mouse.
So don't ask her questions while they're looking at pictures. Want to make sure they hear everything.
This is number 2. This is a passageway. Kind of. There's actually a hole right
Okay.
there.
Okay, thank you.
And this is obviously a missing block that had a passageways inside.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, how long did it take for the police to?
15 minutes, 10 minutes, somewhere about, not much longer than that.
I'm asking because I was just wondering if your daughter and granddaughter were showing signs of being traumatized by what happened.
I think the little one was, she was scared of the bad man, but Melissa's tough. My money's on Melissa in a fight anyway. She's tough.
But, yeah,
Sorry.
okay. Okay, anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay.
I'm just sorry I didn't put the falling down thing in. But, no, you've got the copy of the lease, so I don't need to. Okay.
Okay. Anything?
Well, he's got some pictures and he wants to show that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, when she came up to did she say who she was?
Oh, Maureen.
Okay, so come on, when you come on up, identify yourself so we know who's speaking, both for the people that are on Skype and us.
Ralph Bloom?
Yeah, okay.
What floor do you live in?
First floor. And let's see. The girls covered pretty much everything. I just can verify what happened.
Yeah.
The altercation in the front, which my wife and my daughter described. It was a little out of the ordinary, you know what I mean? This, one day we're just sitting on the porch, minding our own business. I don't my granddaughter, and just pulls up in the driveway, jumps out. I'm running over and then F, these guys cussing everybody out and right in front of the child, I told him, be quiet, knock it off, He kept going, he almost got in my face, he said, listen, you cornered my wife, I'm gonna take you out. And I answered back, don't threaten me, just don't threaten me, right? Yeah, the guy went more heated and I said, you gotta come, you gotta stop swearing in front of a child, And next my daughter calls the cops. Listen, you're out of control. This guy, he had a field, you know what I mean? And the cop came, and before the cop came, he just took off. I said, run. I told him, you're running, I didn't say what the order was, but. And he ran to the back of his house, and the cop came, he went down in the back, talked to him. And cop said, you want to press charges? I said, no. At the time, I was like, yeah, because, he tried to shield her,
Yeah.
scare my, granddaughter, my wife, and I thought I had a couple of days, and I forget, I let it go, because he's had a few drinks, and people get a little different when it's like this. So I just let it go.
I'm sorry, your wife said you had pictures to show us?
Of the altercation.
And no,
Whatever.
pictures.
You said you had-
You had the pictures from downstairs that you took.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm gonna change it to the vice issue, because it was kind of going around, is that okay?
Yeah.
I went out and bought glue traps, snap traps, whatever.
Yeah.
And I watched YouTube, they tell you how to set them and all that stuff, right? So I have pictures of that. And, second. Well, you have holes at the entry point. These are.
We have that.
that picture.
Yeah, I gave them.
We have that one too, right?
That's the one of where the siding meets the
Oh, this is
foundation.
the back of the house. This one side is the staircase side. This is the rear. That's the foundation falling apart. You would know that. It's all cracked. The blocks are falling out. That's the end of the foundation. That's like a piece of that together.
We have that picture.
Yes.
You got both those?
Yes.
So what I did was, in those areas, I foamed them. And at least I could do was stop the traffic to it. I don't know where they're coming from. So I did that. I foamed without area, I think you saw that already. Now. This is a picture of the water heater down here in the basin, because our building doesn't have central heating system. It's heated by what it is.
Yeah.
Which doesn't go all that far. It travels a little bit, like 2 rooms maybe, but our other 2 rooms are cold. Bathroom was cold because one's in north, one's south. And we have to compensate with space heaters. So, space heaters are expensive. You run them enough, you don't need to, stuff. Just want to bring that to your attention. And like I said, downstairs is, there's no heat down there to keep the pipes warm, barely, because the only heat supplies for the water is. We're expecting, that's all you're gonna get. So I have a picture of that. This is in our bath, in the first one, we have a crawl space. And which has the tub, that's like the lower section, and it's not insulated.
Do you have pictures that
Oh, yes.
actually relate to
Yes.
some of the things that are in the complaint?
Oh, that's what, we'll give you
Such as the roof leaks, the mice eating the ceiling bedroom,
lead paint, the door.
That's
That's
that.
it.
Oh,
That's
yes.
it.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, here's
Wrong one.
here's the traps I found for the mice. This is a powder mixture.
Do you have any pictures of the tile in the bathroom?
No, I don't. Okay, good. Okay, good.
So what's wrong with the bathroom tile?
Oh, the tiles are all stained.
Stained or coming off? Are they coming off or are they just stained?
They're stained, but they're dark stained.
So it's not a
color of the water.
It's not an active leak. It doesn't continually get wet.
No, no, this happened when we had the toilet issue upstairs.
So, I don't mean to be, again, trying to cut you short, but I'm just trying to make sure what you want to show us. Like
well,
you
they-
have the bathroom tiles and mice and bathroom tiles. So what you're going to show us relates to this. We can't see too much of other things that
Aren't in the
may be
complaint.
important, but
Mhm.
If they're not in a complaint, it's
we
really
can't see it.
irrelevant to us.
This is irrelevant to what we're talking, this, the bidding for the mice.
Okay, but
Have you totaled up what you've spent on mice, mouse traps? Do you have a receipt totaling everything up that
I
you,
have at the house, it's probably about 30 hours.
it's irrelevant to us unless we have
Yeah.
that.
While you're doing that, can you just, you were there when you saw Jessica in the basement?
Yes,
You were there, okay, can you just describe, did you all of a sudden see her go in, or were you down there, or?
what it was I was upstairs watching TV. Right above the. And I heard some movement down in the basement. And I said, that's kind of weird because. My son and daughter-in-law are working, the kids are in school, so it's too quiet. I said, wait a minute, what's going on? So I got up, went downstairs, and Jessica was downstairs in the basement. So I says, how can I help you? Well, I come down to turn the water off. You know, you have to speak it outside, just use one by turn. So, all right, go and turn on. But in the meantime, we had a dryer in front of the rear basement entrance. There's a basement stairs go up. She moved that to open that door because it's bolted from the inside. And there's a door at the top, it's a new door, and then did the lead pavement. That's got a lock and she has a key for that. So she doesn't have a key for the side door, which is my son's apartment entry, which she can get access to the hallway to go down to the basement. And I should have asked her at the time, which I did not, is how did you get in here if you don't have a key? So two and two makes four, like she jimmied the door or something to get down there. So I challenged her, I said, you know, what are you doing? Well, I come to turn the water and she starts walking around the basement. I said, listen, you have to go because you need to give me 24-hour notice because that's on the lease, as a legal lease document. Well, you know, we'll have a discussion about that, you know. We'll have a meeting or
So
something
what
like
water
that.
was she turning on?
The outside water, you have an outside.
It wasn't an emergency.
No, absolutely not. Because in the winter time, she don't have a frost free, so she has the door after it'll pop, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's what she claimed she was doing down there. So, you know, watched her go that day, she went down and checked the water main, you know. And I said, well, which way are you going out? Because, well, the way I come in, because you're not going out the basement stairs. You know, because I'm gonna lock it. You know what I mean? Because, she's, let me know if you're coming or not, you know. And then I walked up the stairs, up to the hallway. And she said, well, you know, you can't talk to me. I didn't talk to you anything. I didn't discuss anything with you. And I says, I told you, you know, I need 24 hours notice for you to enter the building. This is not an emergency. Well, we'll have a meeting about it, this and that. And I said, fine, let's have the meeting. Never, the meeting never happened. So she left. That's what's the end of it. But, you know, you're breaking into a house without permission is not the coolest thing to do, you know what I mean? You know, if she had notice, sure, come on in, you know. Storage area is wide open, check everything out, anything you wanna do, just look at it. But to sneak in like that is not public policy. You know,
So you have nothing different than what,
exactly,
spoke
the
about.
same thing, same
Okay.
story. Yeah. But,
so we'll now conclude that portion of our meeting. We,
Well, actually,
if there's any,
there's two mice.
now we could. If we have any other questions for either of the tenants? Any other questions for either of the tenants? Internet people? Anything
No.
for the tenants?
No,
Donna?
thank you. No, thank
Okay.
you.
So we'll close your portion of this meeting.
Thank you.
Then we will stay, it's all open to meeting. And now we can discuss on our thoughts on what we need to discuss to make our decision.
You cannot interact with us while we
Yes.
discuss it.
So you may like some of the things we say, you may not. But that's our discussion. Not a
Sounds
problem.
good.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Any discussion from us, from the other members? Before we hear my 2 cents.
No further comments.
No, thank you.
There's a couple, go ahead, I'm sorry, Donna.
I said no, thank you.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll kind of start some of the discussion. That is, first off, the landlord did not show up.
Are we talking about 24-8 or both of them at the same time?
Well, either way, he did not show up for either hearing. It's one hearing, he's not here. So that, based on that, I would say, I guess it wasn't that important to him. And I would think that both tenants have legitimacy to their questions and thoughts. We've seen items brought out to us that there are some concerns. And my thought would be there's no rental increase at all. If you can't come up and as a business owner and present your case for validation for a increase in the money's due, then I guess you don't really feel that it was due. That's my thoughts on it, and I have no more vote than any one of you. When it goes to the landlord entering the basement, on that portion, that is kind of I kept asking the questions on it, and I see that as more of a common area, because it's not locked in for any one tenant or the other. And the landlord needs to have access again to the utilities. So that's a little bit of a common area. But as for anything else, I'm in favor of the tenants, and the landlord did not show. So, and some of that is by default. Statements, questions, thoughts?
Well, going with Melissa and Brett's claim. Well, my factor, a lot of my factors are, again, we discussed this in a few other cases that we had, and they've been there since November 1st of 2019, and there's been 0 increases. And I'm a homeowner, so I'm not a landlord. I've never been a renter, so I don't know that issues. My thing is, this is a 47% jump, which is pretty significant in my eyes, so.
Yeah.
And again, without landlord participation, not only does that show disrespect for us as a committee, and in my eyes, the tenants, I vote with you, Kevin, that no increase.
I agree, and also the fact that they've done very little to nothing to correct the problems with the leaking roof, the rodent problem, and the door with the lead in the basement. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's,
to me, that's just total disrespect for the people that are renting your property, that you know, you're not even going to take care of what you own. So I agree. I don't think the rent should be increased at all.
wanted to make a motion.
Well, I just
Well,
want to say, I mean, I think the timing on it is, as soon as they had the altercation, then the rent went up.
It's
And I
not
think
even like a
at least the
5%.
one on the second floor
Right.
really was, oh my God.
Yeah,
You know, the 750 to 1100, the other,
yeah,
other one-
$350 increase.
I also want, if you, I'm
right,
sorry.
go ahead.
Donna or Travis, you got anything to add to that before I add my 2 cents in again?
I would agree with both of you on no rent increase.
Okay, I'm referring that to 24/8, 24/9. Unfortunately, 24/8 didn't show me a lease, so I have to go by what 24/9 says. And the 24-hour notice is huge in my eyes. That's an invasion of privacy in my eyes. So, and again, I'm not a landlord, I'm a homeowner. So. I also denied the increase of 29% on that one as well.
Somebody make a motion then, that there be no increase
I motion that no increase on either rent,
on 24-9 and
24-8.
I
I'll second that.
Any discussion? No, then all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so there's no increase and you will receive a formal notification shortly by mail.
And the landlord will also,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, and this is all public record, so he is welcome to view it on the city website at some point. And if there's some notifications, we'll go on.
Why am I stopping?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
No?
Question or?
How long does this, can they file something next week?
Yeah,
without saying
There
that?
is, it's all really on the, you can go on the website and there's a whole list of guidelines.
Okay.
It may take a few moments to get there and navigate through the website, but there is a whole procedure and it'll define on what his options are and stuff, so you can be well versed on it. It'll take you a few minute read, and the best thing to do is sometime when you're like, all right, it's pouring out, we can't go out, just try to navigate through it.
Okay, perfect, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for hearing us.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so motion to close this portion of the meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I passed, we're back to regular meeting. Let's see. Here, I should get my own. Is there any old business? Mike, you said something was something.
Well, there was, you do have to figure out, there's something like to figure out a date for a meeting. No, that's the.
Well, this is, oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Drive safe.
The November 14th is not the normal scheduled date. So we're meeting then to address that other complaint.
Okay.
Right.
And then we have a regularly scheduled meeting for the 21st, I believe it is.
Correct.
Yes.
All right,
21st.
November 14th, which.
That's for doing the room at 33 Highland.
Yeah.
No.
No.
40 Pulver,
Or Palmer Street.
Letitia Portalatin.
Yeah, yeah, we've got 2 complaints right now we're dealing with.
I didn't.
There's that.
Okay, can you
So
give a number on that?
the
What's the number on it? Is there a number on it?
2410,
24.
so 2410 is a complaint by Letitia Portalatin or Portalatin, whatever.
Okay, that's,
Or what, I don't have to be for.
neither do I. That's why I'm
Yeah.
questioning on it. And I.
So in
I
any
reviewed it
event-
today, but I'll check again.
You
All right.
should have an email, so the November 14 notice has already gone out to Ms. Portalatin, and the landlord is Kai Bapta. And their hearing is November 14th, 2024 at 5 PM. We have another,
Yeah, that's 2010.
yes,
On the 14th.
Okay, that's November 14th.
and then 2411 is from
When is that one?
Romjack, whatever.
Yeah, when is that?
That's the one that you had shown me earlier.
Okay, what date? That,
That has not been set for a date yet, and so you could decide now that you would also do that on the 14th.
Because it was received on the 15th.
so
It
yeah,
was
that would be,
received on the 15th.
let's do them both.
So you have
So that
45
yeah,
days.
so- and that's 30 days. So that would be within the time frame. So on
Okay.
November 14th.
So I'll
So-
send letters out to the tenant and the landlord that hearing will be on the 14th also.
So on November 14th, we will have hearing for 24-10 and 24-11 on November 14th.
Mhm.
So that, and was it's still under the old business. Did anything come back from the city on the?
Ordinances.
Yeah, we said.
There was some feedback on the ordinance.
On the ordinance?
I don't think I brought that.
You said that they didn't like some of the proposed things. You want to talk about that?
So the main thing that they talked about, they had questions about, there's a provision we put in there that talked about essentially if the property is not up to code, building code, and it's really significant, the commission could order that rent be paid into escrow until the property is brought into compliance.
I like that.
And so the council asked, I think it was the ordinance subcommittee, how would that work? Who would hold that escrow account? And I haven't looked into that at all yet. I think it's the kind of thing I would discuss with our finance department, whether they would be able to, open up a separate account that would be used to hold that escrow. So they had that question. What they mostly were concerned about, I talked about how there's 13 circumstances. They asked about how many, petitions did we have? And I mentioned one that we decided right off the bat didn't really implicate the Fair Rent Commission. It was more, fair housing, kind of what you're thinking about for one of these. But that one clearly was fair housing, and I sent a letter to the tenant saying that, you didn't allege anything that really brings you in the purview of the Fair Rent Commission. So Councilman Cavanero primarily was saying, well, there should be something in the complaint form, that the complaint form should specifically list the 13 circumstances and require them to make allegations relative to those 13 circumstances. Yeah, and I don't agree with that.
I don't even.
Well, the complaint form itself does solicit information goes to those 13 circumstances.
Because we don't have to find for all 13.
Right. Well, he's thinking, why waste, you're all volunteers, your time is important. Why waste your time looking at a complaint if on its face it's inadequate? And I kind of feel like I don't want to make the complaint too complicated.
Right.
There's a lot of due process stuff involved.
And usually when somebody's coming up as a tenant,
Well, they're pro se and
Right.
they're first saying it and they've never gone through it. And in reading all of that is
Right, and those 13 are hard to.
Right,
Some of them are
And I think, we dealt with it once on one already, so what I would suggest to you as an appropriate response to him was that you considered it and you felt that you didn't want the complaint to be more complicated than it is, and that it's easy enough that what's in the complaint, the questions there are designed to elicit information that goes to those 13 circumstances. But you didn't think that listing the 13 circumstances was really that helpful and would make much of a difference. So, but it's up to you to decide if you want it in
Would
there.
it be helpful if someplace in the title, in the complaint form, it said kindly referred to?
Well, what I have been doing, what my practice has been, when I send them notice of the hearing, I've been including copy of what we have on the website. And it's all
Yeah.
there.
Kindly referred
And
to.
that also at the end, if I recall, directs them to that website, the Connecticut Housing Commission website. So I think how much of that they're receiving, how much, I don't know, but I don't feel like there's much more we can do. I'm not gonna send
You can
everybody.
overload it and they still won't read it.
Right.
And
I
those
wouldn't.
13 are sort of hard to read anyway.
And we
I think-
use some of our past complaints and use them as examples and say, would these people coming in as tenants, could we really expect them to navigate all of that and go through all of that? And could they or would they?
My sense
You
is
know,
that
so like-
this is an open forum for people to come with a complaint where they can't resolve it so that they can be heard.
Yeah.
And we have to determine if it's equitable and just what's happening between the landlord and the tenant.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, this case here, they didn't talk about comparable rents anyplace else. They didn't talk about a lot
Well,
of.
that would have been the landlord's thing, and it's
Yeah.
still, that's, a
Right.
lack of a landlord in my eyes is, I don't care, so here,
You lost by default.
that, unfortunately.
Even though it's not the rule, but.
But.
Well, with the evidence presented to me, I was okay with my decisions.
Still
So-
within, like, in court, they show it automatic.
Let's
Right.
go back to the 13 with the council. I think, again, I'm not just one person. When he. Council sends out that and has those 13 listed in it, I think we're pretty much covered.
Well,
It says
the
refer
13
to-
factors are included in the summary or whatever it's called. It's on the website.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think if it says
It's
refer
just,
to.
it's not in the complaint.
Okay,
The complaint form we're using,
I
it's
don't
not
think it should be in
in.
the
No.
complaint. That's
Okay.
my
I
thing.
So that's the
I
bottom.
agree, because there's a lot on the.
Yeah, it's, yeah, let's not make it more complicated than it really, it's
Right.
really not complicated, but let's not make it complicated.
Right, and I think it is pretty clear. I mean, we know what the 13, you know
Right,
what the
yeah,
13,
right.
if a complaint comes in and you look at it and it's completely void of anything relative to those 13 circumstances, then you'd say, there's nothing here.
Right.
And move on.
yeah, next.
So, and I'll have
Or
to
refer
look,
them to some other department that may be.
Right. I'll have to look at the ordinance again, because maybe I could just, if it's not in there, plug in some provision that gives you the authority to summarily dismiss a complaint. If it fails to allege anything that would allow you to make a finding that any of the 13 circumstances really come into play, something like that. Does that sound reasonable?
Don't we have to, don't we
We'd still
do
have to
that
have a
anyway?
meeting. During a
What's that?
meeting,
Don't
we
we
do that.
anyway?
Yeah,
I mean, that's what we do anyway. We look.
Well, no, I'm talking about doing it without
have a
granting
meeting.
them a hearing.
But who would
but
decide
who
that?
would decide that?
You guys would. So you'd have a
So we have
meeting
to
where you
have a
could
meeting.
submit, you'd have a meeting, but you could,
We'd still
it
have-
wouldn't be a hearing, a public hearing.
Well, in other words, like the case that, that Hormick or whatever her name
The
is.
most recent
Yeah.
one.
Right,
That-
whether or not that's one that we should hear, because it doesn't really fit
The one that
in,
just came out?
the most recent one.
Yeah, it was something.
It's, they're both disabled, she's that one there,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
okay?
Okay.
So it's more of a complaint of discrimination almost than it is.
Right, for the most part. Well, except if you really read it. So she signed a lease 2 years ago
Mhm.
that agreed to pay the rent that she's paying. But now she's complaining that it's an unfair rent. And the fact that she had agreed already, 2 years ago, you can find a rent, even if it was a previously agreed upon rent, to be unreasonable if there were services that the landlord was providing in exchange for that rent, and now they're not doing it anymore.
Which you said they're not doing it anymore.
So, well, in some of that complaint, there was some stuff that I can't remember off the top of my head, that she said, they used to include this and now they don't. But her complaint that they don't like my boyfriend and they don't want him living here, well, that's not anything for you guys to think about, really.
No, and if it's not, if it's in the lease that nobody else can live with it, that's one thing, but if it is,
It's in the.
it's in the lease. Well,
So
Yeah,
either
they
way,
did an amendment to the lease to allow for him to be there.
okay.
And that was when she agreed to pay the higher rent.
I still think that the
There
principle
was an
behind this
amendment, I
is,
didn't see that part.
So
okay,
there's the residential lease.
but still the principle is, we have to meet as a group to say this complaint goes forward or not.
Right.
So,
So,
so there's no one person making a judgment. We still have to have a meeting on
yeah.
it. So I think what you're doing is,
Oh, that is the one.
What do you-
For rents?
So the amendment was after the boyfriend moved in. And so the amendment said, okay, so he's on the lease now and here's what the rent's gonna be.
Which she agreed on.
Right, they signed it. So for her to now complain, well, I think the rent's too high, it's like, well,
well, again, don't cast judgment. Let us do that as a body, so that you're not. As
But
an
in the
individual.
fair rent packet, it does say that you can even though you signed a lease, you can come back if you did not know there was a fair rent commission to argue your case or
Well-
complaint. So, I mean.
Either way, bring it to commission, and we'll decide.
But you, Mike, you also said that services that were in the lease are not being done now, some services.
Yeah, I don't know, let me see what
But
you said.
I think we're starting to escape from the idea of what the city council wants. Now we're talking about an individual case.
Yeah, we don't wanna do
Okay.
this.
We don't wanna do
Right,
that.
right.
Let's stick with what's the city council want,
I
and,
got a Yankee game.
huh?
I got the Yankees.
The game will still be on when you get home.
Okay.
But, the idea is, what do we wanna do with the city council, their question?
We don't wanna have that.
We don't want it
We
in
don't
there.
want it in the complaint.
Yes, any other, what you're doing is fine, they have access to it, it's referenced when you send the letters out, correct?
Yeah,
The-
yeah.
Okay, so it is referenced to the points of information,
Do we need to
And
vote on
then-
this?
huh?
Do we need to vote on it?
Yes. Because we're taking an action.
Okay.
Are
We're
we?
taking the actions, we will just notify I'd like to make a motion then that we notify the council that all that information is provided. And, it'd be up
Can you
to,
make a motion? Can you make a motion?
for somebody to make a motion, that all
Okay.
the information is provided either during the complaint or with the follow-up letter
I'll
for
make the motion then.
the guy.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All
No,
in
thank
favor?
you.
No,
Aye.
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 Okay,
Okay.
and new business.
So the other thing I might do though is, our complaint form doesn't say anything about retaliation. And, you know, there are other fair rent commissions that suggest that that should be in there.
I think that's a good idea.
So I can add a provision, about, you know, the whole prohibition against, about retaliation. But I'll come up with that and circulate it to you guys to review. We could talk about it at the next
Next
meeting.
meeting.
Okay.
We could.
It's not on the
Business.
agenda for the ordinance subcommittee now.
Okay. I just want to read this real quick from the Fair Rent Commission packet. It says, can commissions accept complaints if the tenant has already signed a new lease? Yes, for a variety of reasons, it is not unusual for tenants to sign a lease even when they believe the rent increase is unreasonable. They may be completely unaware of the existence of a fair rent commission in their town until after they have signed their lease, or they may believe that they have no choice because the alternative to agreement is non-renewal or eviction implicit in the filing of the fair rent complaint, including after a lease is initially signed, is that the tenant does not in fact agree to the rent increase or the rental charge amount. Commissions should accept these complaints and review them under the same standard they apply to other complaints. So in that case, it might be whether or not at the time they signed that lease.
We didn't have a commission,
No, 2022, I thought it was, right?
This commission didn't exist then.
I have a
That-
completely different question before we go. So I'm gonna write it, want me to write up the decision? Yeah, that's fine, but am I gonna do anything with the photos?
No,
Or
I'm-
put them
Connie,
online?
Connie keeps it.
I'm keeping. all
Okay,
of
but
the evidence.
Are you gonna circulate, I mean, if I refer to them, can you put them on, or want me to?
If you think if you need
I
them,
don't know, I don't think so. I don't think I will.
I don't think you'll need them for.
No, why not just
We'll
put
do it for
on
the
your,
minutes and then I can write my.
Yeah, and I can just write.
And if we do, we can meet and I can
Yeah.
take pictures of that.
and you know, thinking about that, Connie, I think it might be appropriate, since there really is not right now a repository for fair rent commission stuff. You know, maybe we just, give them to Heather, have the city clerk, because she's got hard copy files for everything.
Yeah,
So maybe we,
keep your notes at home?
I keep it in this binder with all my other stuff.
City clerk.
well, I think let's wait till after an appeal period, maybe.
Mhm.
But even so, we can still refer to them.
Yeah.
All right, we'll gather that.
Okay.
All right, any
And we
new
have how many-
business? Okay, old business is done, new business is done,
Move to adjourn.
move to adjourn.
Second it.
Any discussion? All in
No, thank
favor?
you.
Aye. The meeting is closed.
Okay, bye
recording.
Travis, bye Donna.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Good night.
everybody.
30.